Hey everyone! Ready to dive deep into the world of Frozen 2? Released on November 22nd, 2019, this film has sparked endless discussions, and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. When Frozen 2 was released on November 22nd, 2019, the world leaned in with anticipation. The first Frozen had become a juggernaut of popular culture, an instant classic that redefined what a Disney princess movie could be. How do you follow up a phenomenon that gave us Let It Go, Elsa's empowering self-liberation anthem, and a sisterly bond that broke the fairy tale mold? The answer was never to replicate, but to evolve. Frozen 2 is not just a sequel. It is a bold exploration of identity, legacy, and the power of truth. It invites audiences, both young and old, into a world where the past whispers through trees, where rivers remember, and where the deepest magic lies not in spells or kingdoms, but in the choices we make when the path ahead is uncertain. From the very first moments, there's a shift in tone. We are no longer in a world of ice palaces and coronation jitters. This is a more mature Arendelle, and the characters we met before have grown, shaped by time and peace, yet unsettled by what lingers beneath the surface. A lullaby from the past echoes through the prologue, sung by Queen Idina to young Elsa and Anna, a haunting song about a river of memory and the secrets it holds. It's a delicate opening, quiet but charged, hinting that something long buried is stirring once more. The snow may have melted, but the story is far from over. As we return to Arendelle, there's a comforting familiarity. Olaf is cracking jokes with a slightly deeper philosophical edge. Kristoff is planning to propose. Sven is still the soulful reindeer we adore, and Elsa and Anna are closer than ever. But even amidst laughter and light, there's something calling, literally. Elsa begins to hear a strange, melodic voice from the north, a sound no one else can hear, pulling her towards something unknown, something that feels like home and danger all at once. It's a masterstroke of atmosphere. This voice becomes a siren song not just to Elsa, but to the audience, pulling us into a new adventure layered with myth, memory, and meaning. The call leads them into the enchanted forest, a place wrapped in mist and legend, closed off from the world since a mysterious conflict decades ago. It's here that the movie unfurls into something deeper than its predecessor. While Frozen was about discovering who you are, Frozen 2 is about discovering where you come from, and what you do once the truth is revealed. The enchanted forest is alive with elemental spirits, a mischievous wind named Gale, a fire spirit that dances in the form of an adorable salamander, and towering earth giants that slumber like part of the land itself. These spirits are not just magical plot devices. They are reflections of nature's emotions, responding to imbalance and betrayal, waiting for someone to listen and restore harmony. Elsa, always different, always unsure of where her powers truly came from, begins to suspect that the key to it all lies in this forest, and in a mythical river called Ahtohallan, where all truths are said to be held. Her journey becomes both external and internal. She is not just trying to save Arendelle from a threat. She is trying to understand herself in a way she never could before. She's not afraid of her power anymore, but she is afraid of what it might mean. Meanwhile, Anna is on a journey of her own. Her love for Elsa is unwavering, but the fear of losing her again weighs heavily. Her arc is grounded in raw emotion, a portrayal of what it means to stand beside someone whose path you cannot fully walk. Anna's strength is in her heart, her resilience, and her refusal to give up even when all seems lost. Kristoff, often comic relief, is refreshingly portrayed as the supportive partner, not needing to rescue Anna, but to walk with her, to wait, and to trust. Olaf, the snowman with the soul of a poet, becomes a surprising anchor in the story. His musings on change, growing up, and understanding the world inject a layer of existential wonder that speaks more to the adults in the audience than the children, all without losing his signature charm. What follows is a tale that bends fairy tale tradition in all the best ways. There's no villain in the classic sense. The antagonist is history itself, an uncomfortable truth buried beneath stories told to protect rather than enlighten. Elsa and Anna discover that their grandfather, King Runerd, was not the noble peacemaker he was portrayed to be. His actions, building a dam as a deceptive gesture of goodwill, were part of a calculated move to weaken the Northuldra, the people of the forest. The resulting conflict angered the spirits and trapped the forest in an unbreakable mist. It's a bold choice for a children's movie, addressing themes of colonialism, inherited guilt, and reparative justice. It's not packaged with preachiness, but presented with emotional clarity and care, allowing viewers to understand that righting the wrongs of the past often means confronting the ones we once admired. Elsa, determined to find the truth, ventures alone to Ahtohallan, despite warnings that the river could overwhelm her. This sequence is visually and emotionally stunning. Ice sculptures rise from the water, echoing her memories and her ancestry. She sees the full scope of her past, and with it, the revelation that she herself is the fifth spirit, the bridge between magic and humanity, a symbol of unity between the two worlds. It's the moment her journey comes full circle. She is not cursed, not a mistake, she is the answer. But the truth almost destroys her. Pushed to the edge, isolated in the freezing stillness of Ahtohallan, Elsa sends one final message to Anna before she freezes completely, trusting her sister to carry on what she now knows. Anna's response is heartbreaking and heroic. Believing Elsa to be gone, she sings The Next Right Thing, a quiet, devastating ballad about moving forward in darkness. This moment, more than any, cements Anna's strength. Without magic, without certainty, she chooses to do what is right. Destroy the dam and restore balance, even if it means Arendelle might be lost. It's this sacrifice that awakens the spirits and ultimately saves everything. Elsa returns in time to stop the flood, but it's Anna's decision, her courage, that shifts the fate of the world. The final moments are not about triumph, but understanding. Elsa chooses to remain in the forest, where she belongs, finally free to be who she truly is. Anna becomes Queen of Arendelle, not as a consolation, but as her rightful place, compassionate, wise, and grounded. Visually, Frozen 2 is a triumph. Every frame is laced with care and intention. The enchanted forest is rich in autumnal hues, in contrast to the icy palette of the first film. Ahtohallan glows with ethereal light and fractal patterns that shimmer like living memory. The animation reaches new levels of depth and realism, from the way wind rustles leaves to the subtle emotional cues on the characters' faces. But what elevates the visuals even more is how deeply they are tied to emotion. The landscapes aren't just backdrops. They are reflections of internal journeys, of emotional landscapes brought to life. And then, of course, there's the music. Idina Menzel's Into the Unknown is more than a successor to Let It Go. It's a battle cry of transformation. It's about following a call that scares you because it might redefine everything. Show Yourself, another Elsa solo, is a revelation, literally and emotionally, as she steps into her fullest self. Kristen Bell's The Next Right Thing is quiet but shattering. Jonathan Groff's Lost in the Woods is a humorous and heartfelt nod to 1980s power ballads, delivered with surprising depth. Even Olaf's When I Am Older captures the strange comfort of believing everything will make sense in time, even when the world feels overwhelming. What makes Frozen 2 extraordinary isn't just its bold storytelling or its technical brilliance, it's the way it respects its audience. It doesn't shy away from complexity. It trusts that children can understand loss, responsibility, and growth. It speaks to the parts of us still searching, still becoming. It shows that change is not something to fear, but something to face with open hands and an honest heart. It embraces the truth that not all questions have easy answers, and that's okay. This respect, this emotional intelligence, is why the film resonates so deeply. It's no surprise that Frozen 2 became the highest-grossing animated film of all time upon release, surpassing even its predecessor. But beyond the box office, its cultural impact runs deeper. It entered classrooms and homes not just as entertainment, but as a starting point for conversations about history, about bravery, about the bond between siblings and the meaning of self-discovery. It challenged the notion of what a Disney sequel could be, refusing to rest on the laurels of the original success and instead venturing into uncharted territory, both thematically and narratively. At its heart, Frozen 2 is a story about growing up. Not just in years, but in understanding. It's about realizing that the stories we're told as children are not always the full truth, and that part of becoming who we're meant to be means seeking the whole story, even when it hurts. It's about accepting that those we love may not be perfect, that the world is complex, and that sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go. For Elsa, it's letting go of Arendelle, of the fear that she must be one thing or the other. For Anna, it's letting go of her need to always protect her sister, trusting that they can walk separate paths and still remain inseparably connected. In the end, it's not about Elsa's powers or Anna's crown. It's about how they face the unknown, together and apart. It's about how love, real love, doesn't cling or control, but supports and grows. And it's about how the past, no matter how painful, can become the foundation for a better future when faced with courage and honesty. Frozen 2 invites us to ask questions, to explore the unseen, and to embrace the idea that truth, no matter how deeply buried, is always worth finding. It is not just a movie, it is a journey into memory, myth, and meaning. And it reminds us all, whether we're children dreaming of enchanted forests or adults navigating the uncertainties of change, that we are never truly alone, as long as we choose to listen, to act with courage, and to follow the voice within. A quiet stillness hangs over Arendelle. Peace has returned to the kingdom after the storm that was Elsa's self-imposed isolation, the icy explosion of her powers, and the love that saved it all. But as Frozen 2 begins, there's a restlessness brewing beneath the calm. It starts in a whisper, a voice, distant and haunting, that only Elsa can hear. She hides it well, laughing with her sister, sharing warm moments with Olaf, watching Kristoff bumble nervously through yet another failed attempt to propose to Anna. Everything appears picture-perfect, but magic doesn't sleep forever. And some things, long buried in snow, begin to thaw. Even before this strange call pierces Elsa's world, the story begins years earlier with a lullaby. A bedtime memory from their childhood surfaces, sung by their mother Idina, the voice of Evan Rachel Wood, soft, mysterious, full of ancient warning. She sings to them about a place called Artohallan, a river said to hold the answers to all truths, but one that is dangerous for those who seek it unprepared. A child's bedtime story, or a clue hiding in plain sight. That night from their past lingers like fog, and it becomes clear that what was once dismissed as fairy tale is about to resurface in full force. As the present-day Arendelle flourishes, Anna is basking in the happiness she's always longed for. Her family is together, safe, and closer than ever. But Elsa, still queen, still poised, is pulled in another direction. The voice comes again, clearer now. Melodic, tempting, unsettling. She tries to ignore it, throwing herself into moments with Anna and Olaf, pretending the calm isn't about to break. But magic has a way of refusing silence. And that night, during a game of charades, when laughter fills the room, she hears the voice again, stronger. Something inside her shifts. She sings, not to anyone, not even herself, but as a plea to the voice that won't leave her. Into the Unknown isn't just a song, it's a crack in the dam, the beginning of something unstoppable. What follows is an unexplainable event. Arendelle trembles. The sky turns angry. The elements revolt. Fires flicker out. Water drains away. The earth groans. Elsa, shaken by the voice and feeling somehow responsible, gathers her strength. They evacuate the city as massive earth giants stir in the distance. Panic spreads, but Elsa knows this is no natural disaster. Something deeper has awakened. Then, a memory resurfaces, of a story their father told them. As children, they were told of the enchanted forest in the far north, a mystical land cloaked in fog, home to the Northuldra people and ancient elemental spirits. Their grandfather, King Runyd, had built a dam to honor the Northuldra and supposedly keep peace. But something went terribly wrong. A battle broke out, their father barely escaped, and since then, the forest has been sealed in magical mist. No one has entered or left in decades. Realizing the voice and the spirits must be connected, Elsa decides she has to go north, to uncover the truth and stop the disturbance that now threatens Arendelle. She wants to go alone. But Anna, ever fiercely loyal, refuses to let her sister face the unknown alone again. And so begins their journey, Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven, leaving behind the safety of the castle and stepping into the myths of their childhood. The road to the enchanted forest isn't smooth. There's tension between Elsa and Anna, though neither says it aloud. Elsa fears her power might hurt those she loves. Anna fears losing Elsa again to forces she can't control. Kristoff, nervously rehearsing his proposal over and over, struggles to find the right moment, always interrupted. Olaf, more thoughtful than ever, ponders the nature of change, delivering moments of levity laced with surprising philosophical weight. As they travel, the landscape changes. The air thickens. The forest draws near, veiled in mist that seems alive. And then they reach it, the barrier. The mist that guards the forest seems impenetrable, until Elsa touches it. With a pulse of her power, the fog parts, welcoming her. It's not a coincidence. It never was. The forest responds to her like it's been waiting. Inside, time seems to bend. The forest is breathtaking, almost dreamlike, alive with quiet magic and ancient secrets. But it doesn't remain peaceful for long. The moment they step inside, the elements react. Wind howls. Fire erupts. Earth shifts. The group is split, scattered by the forest's wrath. But through the chaos, Elsa calms the wind spirit, Gale, a playful, unseen force that dances with leaves and air. In the process, she discovers another piece of the puzzle, the fire spirit. But it's not a beast. It's a tiny salamander, glowing with fierce energy. Elsa soothes it, and again, the forest settles. Their presence does not go unnoticed. They encounter the Northuldra, descendants of the people trapped in the forest since the conflict decades ago, as well as a group of Arendellian soldiers who have been stranded just as long. The two groups have lived in tension, unable to leave, caught in a decades-long standoff within the forest. Old wounds resurface. The soldiers speak of King Runeard's generosity. The Northuldra tell a different story, one of encroachment and deceit. The truth is murky, and both sides are weary. The arrival of Elsa and Anna adds fuel to the fire, but also brings a strange hope. Elsa's connection to the spirits can't be ignored. As they try to understand more, they meet Yelena, the Northuldra leader, and Hunameren, a gentle spirit who speaks of balance and the fifth element, a mysterious bridge between the human world and the magical one. A legend begins to take shape. There are 4 elemental spirits: earth, wind, fire, and water. But a 5th spirit is said to exist, one that connects all others and maintains harmony. The forest has been out of balance since the battle, and the only way to restore peace is to find that 5th spirit. Slowly, all signs begin to point toward Elsa. While camped among the Northuldra, Elsa hears more stories, fragments of history that don't align with what she's been told. She learns that her mother was not just a voice of kindness, she was Northuldra herself. Iduna had saved her father during the battle long ago, risking everything. Their love had been the unlikely union of 2 worlds. It's a revelation that shakes Elsa and Anna to their core. Their heritage is not just royal. It's intertwined with the very forest they now stand in. They are not outsiders to this conflict. They are born of it. That night, Elsa and Anna find a shipwreck frozen in the forest, a ship that belonged to their parents. Inside, they find remnants of a journey their mother and father once embarked on, a quest to Artohallan. Their parents had sought the truth about Elsa's powers long before the girls ever knew there were questions to ask. The storm that claimed their lives had not been random. They were searching for answers, and died chasing them. The pain of this discovery is immense. Anna feels betrayed, by the world, by fate, by their parents' secrecy. Elsa, however, feels something else, a rising sense of duty. They died trying to help her. And now, she must finish what they started. She must go to Artohallan. But she knows what that means, leaving Anna behind. Their bond has been the heart of everything. Elsa's isolation, Anna's sacrifice, the healing of their kingdom. But in this moment, Elsa chooses to walk alone. She believes the journey ahead is too dangerous. Her powers protect her, but they cannot protect Anna. So, with regret, she sends her sister and Olaf away on a magical ice canoe, separating their paths once more. Anna is devastated. Abandoned and confused, she doesn't understand why Elsa would push her away again. Olaf, always trying to make sense of the world, comforts her with humor that's tinged with uncertainty. They are alone, deep in a forest filled with spirits and history they barely understand, and they have no idea what lies ahead. Meanwhile, Elsa presses forward, north, toward Artohallan, toward the place where all truths are held. The voice still calls, louder than ever. The world around her grows stranger, wilder. Ice and memory begin to merge. And though she's moving forward, she's also diving deeper, into herself, into her past, into everything that has ever defined or haunted her. Back in the forest, something stirs. The earth giants, massive and sleeping, begin to move again. A dark understanding starts to form. The dam, supposedly a gift of peace, wasn't just a symbol. It was a weapon, built to weaken the forest's natural flow, to control the magic, to dominate rather than unite. If this is true, then the conflict wasn't a misunderstanding. It was an act of betrayal. Anna begins to piece it together. The truth isn't just hidden in stories, it's embedded in stone, in the land itself. She realizes that to fix what has been broken, they may have to destroy what their family built. And it's a terrifying thought. The forest grows darker. The mist seems to press tighter. The tension, unspoken but heavy, wraps around every step. Elsa, now nearing the threshold of Artohallan, feels herself being pulled not just by magic, but by destiny. The truth is near, so close she can feel it in her bones, in her blood. The voice, always calling, is about to be revealed. And in the shadows of the forest, with magic unraveling and truths rising to the surface, a question lingers in every heart. The wind howls louder as Elsa reaches the shores of Artohallan, a place that shimmers with otherworldly beauty, its icy expanse stretching endlessly beneath a sky washed in northern lights. Every step she takes forward is one away from everything she's ever known. Her kingdom, her sister, her past, and deeper into the unknown she spent her whole life fearing and chasing. The voice that has called to her for so long now vibrates through the air like a heartbeat, and Elsa follows it without hesitation. As she moves across the frozen sea, the landscape begins to respond. Ice sculptures rise around her, glowing with memories and fragments of the past. Echoes of her childhood, her parents, her coronation, the moment Anna saved her life, all etched into crystalline form. These are not just memories. They are revelations, each one painting a fuller picture of who she is and what has always lived inside her. Then, the truth begins to surface. The voice isn't a stranger, it's her mother. The song that haunted her wasn't a warning, it was a guide. And more than that, Elsa realizes something deeper, something monumental. She is the fifth spirit. She is the bridge between the magic of nature and the world of people. The power that once isolated her now connects her to everything. But truths often come with consequences. The deeper Elsa ventures into Artohallan, the more powerful the flood of memory becomes. She discovers the truth about the dam. It was not a gift of peace from her grandfather, it was a weapon of manipulation. King Runeard, driven by fear of magic and the people who embraced it, constructed the dam to weaken the Northuldra and their enchanted forest. When the Northuldra resisted, Runeard struck first. The conflict that erupted wasn't a tragedy of misunderstanding, it was the result of betrayal. Her grandfather was the true villain, the one who disrupted the balance and cursed the land with unresolved injustice. Elsa's father had been saved by Iduna, a Northuldra woman, who risked everything to protect him. And their daughters, Elsa and Anna, were born of that union, the legacy of two worlds meant to reconcile, not divide. But the weight of this revelation is too much for Artohallan's magic to bear. The river of memory turns on Elsa, pulling her deeper into the freezing abyss. She sings out, her voice trembling with both clarity and desperation, "Show yourself." But as the truth is finally laid bare, her power surges, and then collapses. Elsa, overwhelmed, freezes solid, encased in ice. Her final breath escapes in a whisper. With it, she sends out one last burst of magic, a message across the miles, a spark of truth carried to the only person who can finish what she started. Far away, deep in the forest, Anna feels it. A shiver, a pause in the air, and then Olaf begins to fade. Snow flurries unravel from his body, his gentle voice trembling as he slips into nothingness. It's a moment of silence so devastating that it echoes louder than any explosion. Anna cradles what remains: memories, laughter, love, and she knows. Elsa is gone. Olaf is gone. Everything they feared has come to pass. But where there could be despair, Anna finds resolve. With Elsa's final memory, Anna sees what must be done. The dam must fall. It is the root of the imbalance, the physical symbol of the wrong her grandfather committed. And its destruction is the only way to restore the forest's harmony and free Elsa, if she can still be saved. But the decision comes at a cost. Destroying the dam could send a wall of water crashing down toward Arendelle. To save the forest, she may have to sacrifice their home. Anna races to act. She rouses the mighty earth giants, colossal beings made of stone who roam the forest like ancient gods, and leads them toward the dam. Dodging their fury, risking her life, she guides them with purpose. The giants hurl massive boulders, each strike a thunderous reckoning. The dam cracks, then shatters. A wave of elemental power, long held back, surges through the land, flowing freely at last. The forest breathes. At that very moment, Ahtohallan responds. Elsa, frozen in silence, begins to thaw. The magic that held her in stasis dissolves, her body warming as the curse lifts. She gasps awake, eyes wide with new understanding and unstoppable clarity. She rides the water spirit, Nock, across the ocean like a streak of light, galloping atop waves as the surge rushes toward Arendelle. As the tidal wave bears down on the kingdom, Elsa arrives just in time, erecting a massive wall of ice, halting the flood and saving her people. She's not just the bridge between worlds now, she's the guardian of both. The sun rises on a healed land. Elsa returns to the forest, to Anna, to a bond stronger than any magic. Their reunion is tearful, powerful, and filled with the relief of shared survival. Anna, who once thought she had lost everything, is now faced with a new beginning. Together, they've restored balance, but not without change. Arendelle's past has been rewritten. Their future must follow. Kristoff finally finds his moment, and in a perfectly unceremonious, heartfelt way, proposes to Anna. She says yes with joy and laughter, the kind only born from pain and recovery. Olaf is brought back to life by Elsa, his flakes gently reforming as he blinks with confusion and delight, his innocence and heart never dimmed. And Sven, loyal as ever, rejoices with them all. But something deeper shifts between the sisters. Elsa, once afraid of her power, now understands it completely. She realizes that Arendelle is Anna's destiny. She, however, belongs to the forest. The magic in her veins is not meant for thrones or politics. It is meant for the wild, for the spirits, for the people who have always lived in harmony with the elements. Anna, brave and compassionate, is crowned Queen of Arendelle. She accepts the crown not just as a ruler, but as someone who has walked through fire and come out stronger. And Elsa, now fully herself, becomes the protector of the forest, the fifth spirit, living in balance with her purpose. Letters cross between them, frequent, filled with affection and updates. The bond of sisterhood remains unbroken, stretched across lands but never weakened. Magic and civilization coexist, no longer in conflict, because they are led by two women who have finally found their place. Not in fear, not in duty, but in choice. The story ends not with a single happily ever after, but with a future wide open. One that honors the past, accepts its mistakes, and steps boldly into the unknown, not to escape it, but to embrace it. The journey wasn't just about Elsa's powers or Anna's loyalty. It was about transformation, about truth, and about the courage to break the cycle. The story of Frozen 2 is built on the strength of its characters, layered, evolving, and more human than ever, despite the magic that swirls through their world. At its heart, it's not a tale of good versus evil or right versus wrong, but a journey of self-discovery and the courage to grow. And no one embodies this more than Elsa, the Snow Queen whose internal battle is louder than any external force she's ever faced. From the moment the film begins, she carries an unspoken restlessness, a haunting question that no crown or kingdom can answer. It's in her voice when she sings Into the Unknown, a piece that Idina Menzel performs with such raw longing that it becomes more than a song. It becomes a manifestation of identity searching for light. Elsa's power has always been a source of awe, but here, it's her vulnerability, her quiet resolve, and her growing trust in herself that redefine her strength. She begins as a queen trying to be what her people expect, what her sister needs, what tradition demands. But every time the voice calls, it chips away at that carefully composed exterior. It isn't rebellion, it's intuition. And as the story unfolds, what's remarkable is how Elsa listens. Not just to the voice, but to herself. Every decision she makes in this chapter of her story brings her closer to something she never had the chance to fully explore in the first film: peace. Not because she banishes her power, but because she accepts it, embraces it, and realizes it's not something to fear, it's something that defines her. She doesn't change who she is, she simply steps fully into it. Menzel captures this evolution not with big theatrical moments, but with subtle shifts, a tremble in her tone, a breath of hesitation, and then a firm, graceful push forward. And if Elsa is the storm learning to still, Anna is the fire learning to lead. Kristen Bell infuses Anna with a tenacity that never feels forced. She's not just the optimistic sister anymore. She's a woman standing in the shadow of legacy, trying to find where she fits in a world constantly reshaped by fate. Her love for Elsa remains her anchor, but this time, Anna's journey is her own. She experiences loss, first the creeping fear of losing her sister again, then the actual heartbreak of Olaf's fading, and finally, the weight of believing Elsa is truly gone. These moments don't just challenge her, they forge her. In The Next Right Thing, Belle delivers perhaps the most emotionally honest performance of the entire film. There's no grand melody, no magic swirling around. Just a voice, trembling and determined, choosing to take one step forward in total darkness. It's grief, hope, and courage wrapped in a single breath. Anna becomes a leader not by chasing glory, but by enduring heartbreak and still standing tall. The relationship between Elsa and Anna deepens with every scene, not just in what is said, but in what's unspoken. It's in the way they watch each other across rooms, in how Anna always runs toward Elsa while Elsa holds back just a moment longer. It's love in its truest, most complex form. One sister carrying power she doesn't fully understand, the other carrying the weight of that burden beside her, never letting go. By the end, their paths diverge, but their connection doesn't fray, it strengthens. Anna's coronation isn't a sign of Elsa's retreat. It's the fulfillment of a promise they both needed to believe in, that they could stand alone without losing each other. Kristoff, often seen as comic relief, evolves quietly but meaningfully. Jonathan Groff gives him a sincerity that's refreshingly understated. His arc isn't about slaying dragons or grand heroics, it's about emotional maturity. He's unsure, not because he's weak, but because he wants to do things right. His repeated failed attempts to propose aren't just played for laughs. They reveal a man who understands the gravity of love. He doesn't want Anna to just say yes. He wants her to feel safe, seen, and certain. And when the time finally comes, his words are simple and pure: "My love is not fragile." In a story filled with epic quests and elemental spirits, Kristoff's declaration stands out precisely because it's so grounded. His love is steady, his loyalty unshaken, and his role as a partner, not a savior, redefines what it means to be a romantic lead in a fantasy tale. Then there's Olaf, the embodiment of childlike wonder and philosophical musings. Josh Gad returns with the perfect balance of humor and soul. Olaf is more self-aware now, asking big questions about growing up, change, and the fleeting nature of life. His song, When I Am Older, is a playful reflection on uncertainty that carries an undercurrent of melancholy. He doesn't understand everything, but he trusts that someday he will. Olaf represents the audience's own attempts to make sense of chaos with optimism and curiosity. And when he begins to fade, it hits harder than anyone expected. His innocence, so often taken for granted, becomes something to mourn. But true to his character, even in his final moments, he offers comfort, reminding Anna of what matters most. It's no wonder his return later feels like the restoration of a little piece of magic we didn't realize we had come to depend on. The supporting characters enrich the world with texture and meaning. Lieutenant Matthias, voiced by Sterling K. Brown, adds a sense of grounded history. He's not just a soldier lost in the enchanted forest. He's a man clinging to honor, to duty, and to memories of a king who once inspired him. Through Matthias, the film confronts the complexity of legacy, how loyalty can be manipulated and how truth can live buried beneath decades of silence. His interactions with Anna are subtle but significant, showing how strength doesn't always mean force. It can also mean listening, adapting, and choosing what's right over what's expected. Yelena, the leader of the Northuldra, is portrayed with quiet authority. She doesn't shout or grandstand. Instead, she embodies a culture deeply rooted in respect for nature and balance. Her presence reminds us that there's a world outside Arendelle, one with its own wisdom, pain, and traditions. The Northuldra people, inspired by Sami culture, ground the film in a spiritual realism that challenges colonial narratives and celebrates harmony over dominance. Their connection to the elemental spirits, Gale, Bruni, Nock, and the Earth Giants, adds depth to the world-building, making it feel lived in and sacred. And then, there's Iduna, Elsa and Anna's mother, whose voice echoes throughout the film like a lullaby lost in time. Though she appears mostly in flashbacks and memory, her impact is enormous. Her love saved a prince. Her song guided a queen. And her story, finally revealed, gives the sisters the key to their past and the permission to choose their future. Her presence lingers not just in voice, but in legacy. She is proof that even those who seem absent still shape the course of destiny. The performances in Frozen 2 breathe life into the film's themes: identity, legacy, transformation, and connection. No line feels wasted. Every expression, hesitation, or gesture is part of a broader emotional landscape that the animators, voice actors, and directors craft with extraordinary care. Characters don't just move through the plot. They move through grief, love, confusion, and hope. They grow, not in a linear path, but through spirals of trial and discovery, like real people caught in extraordinary circumstances. By the end, the characters we met in Arendelle are not the same. Elsa is no longer just a queen. She is a spirit, a symbol of nature's unpredictable grace. Anna is no longer just a sister. She is a ruler forged in resilience. Kristoff has found his voice, not through song, but through unwavering support. Olaf, reborn, carries wisdom beneath his jokes. And together, they show us that every journey is personal, every story worth telling, and every change, no matter how painful, is a chance to become something more. In Frozen 2, character is not just a vehicle for story, it is the story. The magic may dazzle, but it's the hearts of these individuals that keep us watching, that make us cry, laugh, and reflect. They remind us that being lost can be part of the path to being found, that truth can live in the quiet moments, and that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply listen. To yourself, to others, and to the world around you. As the northern lights shimmer across the skies of Arendelle and the haunting voice calls Elsa beyond the walls of her kingdom, Frozen 2 immediately sets the tone for something deeper, more intricate, and filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered. From the first frame to the final breath of wind in the enchanted forest, the film is layered with echoes of the past, clever nods to the original, cultural homages, and symbols that reward the viewer who dares to look beneath the surface. That opening lullaby, All Is Found, sung by Queen Iduna, isn't just a bedtime song. It's the key that unlocks everything. Its lyrics foreshadow Elsa's entire journey. Lines like "Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory" aren't poetic flourishes. They're literal directions to Artahallan, the river of truth where Elsa discovers not only the origins of her power but the truth about her parents. The melody itself is reprised in various instrumental themes throughout the movie, subtly tying Iduna's influence to each of Elsa's steps. And when Elsa finally hears the voice and begins her pursuit, the very sound, the mystical call, is built from the same motif used in the lullaby. It's as if her mother has been guiding her all along. Elsa's transformation in Frozen 2 is drenched in symbolism. Her journey to Ahtohallan mirrors a classic mythological arc. The call to adventure, descent into the unknown, confrontation with truth, and a rebirth. The water horse, Nock, becomes more than just a spirit of water, it's a test of trust. Elsa must surrender control, let go of fear, and learn to ride a force that nearly drowns her. When she finally tames it, it's not through power, but through harmony. The visual of her riding the Nock across the dark sea under moonlight evokes classic fantasy imagery, but it also reflects her personal evolution, becoming one with her power rather than resisting it. There's a particularly subtle callback to Frozen when Elsa, in her ice palace in Ahtohallan, sees memories captured in ice sculptures. One of those moments replays her iconic, let it go transformation. But instead of watching with pride or nostalgia, she cringes a little. It's a brilliant, silent moment. Elsa is literally watching her past self with the perspective of someone who's grown, matured, and maybe even outgrown the person she once had to be. It's not a rejection of let it go, but a soft acknowledgement that letting go was only the beginning. And while the plot deepens, the film doesn't forget to nod at its own roots. Olaf's recap of the first movie is packed with subtle winks. When he dramatically reenacts Elsa's coronation and the events of Arendelle, the reactions of the Northuldra and the soldiers from the enchanted forest mirror the audience's mixed feelings, half awe, half confusion. It's Disney poking fun at itself, recognizing how wild the first movie's plot sounds when rushed through in 2 minutes. But buried in the humor is Olaf's childlike yet oddly insightful commentary on how trauma and memory shape a person, something that echoes again when he explains that water has memory. This line becomes a cornerstone of the film's mythology. The idea that water remembers introduces a magical realism that affects how we interpret every drop, every wave. The snowflakes that Elsa conjures, the mist that surrounds the forest, the ice memories she uncovers in Ahtohallan, all are vehicles of history. When Elsa uses her powers to watch her parents' final journey, it's not just a heartbreaking moment. It's the culmination of that simple truth. Memory, like water, lingers. The animators even hide glimmers of motion inside those frozen memories, tiny movements in the ice that breathe life into the past. The enchanted forest itself is a tapestry of hidden details. Each elemental spirit represents not only nature but aspects of Elsa and Anna's emotional spectrum. Gale, the wind spirit, is playful and erratic, just like Elsa's restless curiosity at the start. Bruni, the fire salamander, is deceptively dangerous but calms under Elsa's touch, a mirror of her own volatile yet gentle power. The earth giants, massive and seemingly menacing, are revealed to be not evil but misunderstood, just like Elsa felt in the first film. And Nock, the water horse, is majestic, elusive, and requires respect before it reveals its path, much like truth itself. Even the color palette of the film carries hidden meaning. As Elsa travels deeper into the unknown, the dominant blues and whites of her usual aesthetic begin to shift, first to purples, then silvers, and finally radiant white when she becomes the fifth spirit. Her final outfit is a symphony of textures, snowflake patterns, flowing translucent fabric, and crystalline accents that visually tie her to every element she has encountered. It's not just a new dress, it's her final form, fully aligned with the spirits and at peace with herself. Meanwhile, Anna's wardrobe subtly matures too. She begins in greens, the color of youth and connection, and ends in royal purple, signifying leadership and transformation. In terms of cultural references, the Northuldra people are inspired by the Sami, an indigenous group from Scandinavia. Disney collaborated closely with Sami cultural experts to respectfully represent their traditions, beliefs, and connection to nature. The result is a depiction that's not only visually striking but rich with spiritual texture. The chanting in the background of Vweli, composed by Frode Fjellheim and Christoph Beck, is an authentic musical homage, blending Sami joik singing with orchestral elements. And the idea of elemental spirits, as well as the forest being protected by mist, aligns with indigenous folklore about sacred land and ancestral presence. There's also a Blinkandjul Missit reference in Ahtohallan. When Elsa dives into the depths of the icy memory river, a fleeting image shows her as a child, playing with Anna. But the snow figures they build look suspiciously like other Disney characters. One resembles Baymax from Big Hero 6, another seems to echo Dumbo's silhouette. These tiny nods aren't meant to distract but to reward viewers who've followed Disney's interconnected storytelling style over the years. And then there's Kristoff's power ballad, Lost in the Woods. At first glance, it's a comedic break, a spoof of 80s music videos complete with reindeer backup singers and dramatic lighting. But beyond the humor, it's a layered love letter to sincerity. The visual style pays homage to power ballads of bands like Queen and REO Speedwagon, right down to the split-screen effects. It's Disney having fun, yes, but also acknowledging the emotional intensity of love songs, songs that are usually reserved for female characters. Giving Kristoff that moment rebalances traditional tropes, letting him wear his heart on his sleeve without mocking it. Another clever piece of foreshadowing happens during the charades game early in the film. Olaf acts out Elsa, and Anna guesses it immediately, but when Elsa tries to mime ice, no one can figure it out. It's a small, funny moment, but it quietly sets up the idea that Elsa's identity is still misunderstood, even by those closest to her. That disconnect, between how Elsa is seen and how she feels, is the emotional fuel for her entire arc. Olaf's musings about change and growing older may seem like comic relief, but they're rich with philosophical undercurrent. His fear of impermanence echoes the transience of childhood. When he says, "You all look a little bit older. I look the same," it's not just a joke. It's the voice of someone realizing that innocence is fleeting. His eventual death becomes even more powerful in this context. It represents the loss of that innocence, the shattering of the world's simplicity. When he returns, it's not as a reset, but a rebirth, wiser, and a little more self-aware. And of course, there's the hidden tribute to Elsa and Anna's parents, Agnar and Iduna. When Elsa finally sees the memory of her mother saving her father as children, it reframes everything. The lullaby, the caution about the forest, even the mystery of her powers, all begin to make sense. Iduna's act of bravery, unacknowledged by the kingdom for so long, becomes the emotional cornerstone of the entire saga. It's her courage that begins the journey. It's her song that guides it. And it's her legacy that brings it home. The final scenes of the film carry quiet symbols that tie every thread together. Elsa rides Nock back to the forest, dressed in her fifth spirit attire, choosing the wild over the royal. Anna is crowned queen, not with pomp, but with peace, surrounded by those she fought to protect. And when Olaf asks if they're going to live happily ever after, it's not met with a fairytale answer. It's met with a moment of reflection, a reminder that life continues, ever-changing, ever-challenging, ever-beautiful. Frozen 2 is a film that doesn't just reward repeated viewing, it invites it. With every return, new patterns emerge. The positioning of statues, the way light reflects off snow, the echoes of lyrics in dialogue, the mirrored movements between young Elsa and her present self, all of it builds a mosaic of meaning. It's a story that trusts its audience to notice, to feel, and to wonder. And in doing so, it becomes more than a sequel. It becomes a mirror of our own growth, reminding us that even in the deepest unknown, there's always something hidden, something remembered, something waiting to be found. Creating a sequel to one of the most beloved animated films of all time isn't just a challenge. It's an emotional tightrope walk across a sea of expectations, creative risks, and technical wizardry. Behind the polished surface of Frozen 2 lies a fascinating maze of strange discoveries, near disasters, and deeply human decisions that shape the film into the phenomenon we see on screen. While Elsa might have tamed the spirits of nature, the team behind the scenes faced their own forces of unpredictability, most of which didn't come with magical ice powers to help them through. The process of bringing Frozen 2 to life actually began in uncertainty. Despite the overwhelming success of Frozen, the filmmakers didn't immediately greenlight a sequel. For years, directors Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck hesitated. They didn't want to continue the story unless they had something meaningful to say. But something kept nagging at them, the question they couldn't shake. Where did Elsa get her powers? And what if her gift wasn't just magic, but something tied to identity, to legacy, to truth? That question cracked open the story and became the first snowflake in a blizzard of imagination. But crafting that story proved to be anything but straightforward. In fact, the film's narrative structure shifted dramatically, even deep into production. Entire plot lines were scrapped, reimagined, and reworked. Originally, there were scenes that explored more of Arendelle's political unrest and the mysterious past of King Agner, but those threads were eventually trimmed to keep the emotional heart focused on Elsa and Anna's bond. At one point, Elsa was even written to face a trial within a mirror world where she'd confront all her past choices, a visually stunning idea that didn't make the final cut, though concept art still floats around like the ghost of a storyline that might have been. Jennifer Lee, who also wrote the screenplay, had a unique double role during production. In the middle of shaping the sequel, she was named Chief Creative Officer of Walt Disney Animation Studios, following the departure of John Lasseter. That meant she was simultaneously writing a film that had to meet astronomical expectations and guiding the entire future of Disney animation. The pressure was immense, but Lee has spoken candidly about how personal the story of Frozen 2 became. For her, Elsa's journey wasn't just about discovering who she was. It was about navigating the unknown when you're suddenly responsible for far more than just yourself. The production team also faced unusually tight constraints. While the first film took several years to complete, benefiting from long development phases and evolving technologies, Frozen 2 had less time but higher stakes. Animators, writers, voice actors, and technical staff were still working on key sequences mere months before the film's release. One particularly intense moment came during final animation passes of Elsa's Show Yourself sequence. As she walks through the crystalline halls of Ahtohallan, images from her past surround her in ice. The choreography of these memories, syncing with the music, required some of the most complex rendering the studio had ever attempted. Some animators reportedly worked through weekends just to finish Elsa's glowing transformation dress on time, a feat that used a never-before-seen layering technique involving translucent textures, flowing cloth simulations, and individual snowflake geometry. But what's perhaps even stranger is how real-world events shaped parts of the film. In the midst of writing, the creative team took a research trip to Iceland, Norway, and Finland. What they experienced there, stark landscapes, hidden forests, waterfalls that seemed to whisper, didn't just inspire visuals. They inspired philosophy. They met with members of the Sami people, who would go on to directly influence the Northuldra tribe depicted in the film. What's less widely known is that after controversy surrounding cultural representation in the first film, Disney made an official contract with Sami leaders before continuing production. This was unprecedented. The agreement, called the Verdict Agreement, outlined respectful collaboration, ensuring that the portrayal of indigenous traditions wouldn't just be authentic, but also ethical. And speaking of authenticity, there's a curious detail about the voice cast that adds another layer of magic. Evan Rachel Wood, who voices young Queen Iduna, was chosen in part because her singing voice matched seamlessly with Idina Menzel's. In fact, when you hear All Is Found, it's Wood's voice carrying the lullaby, setting the tone for the film. But behind the scenes, she wasn't just learning music, she was also teaching Sterling K. Brown, who plays Lieutenant Matthias, how to record for animation. Brown, despite his powerhouse performances in live-action roles, had never done voice acting. He was stunned by how physical the process was, noting that you basically have to act the scene while standing in a foam-padded booth, sometimes wearing no shoes, and hoping your stomach doesn't rumble during a long take. Jonathan Groff, who voices Kristoff, also had an unexpected challenge. Despite being a Broadway star, he only had one full song in the first Frozen, and even that was a comedic tune. For Frozen 2, he was finally given a ballad, Lost in the Woods. But here's the twist, he had to perform not only Kristoff's lead vocals, but also all the harmonies for the reindeer. That's right. Groff recorded dozens of vocal layers to create the illusion of a reindeer boy band. The result? A hilariously earnest tribute to power ballads that also became a favorite moment for many adult fans who grew up on 80s rock. And then there's Olaf, voiced by the irreplaceable Josh Gad, who wasn't always meant to return. Early story drafts considered the possibility of Olaf melting away permanently, but Gad reportedly lobbied hard to keep the character growing rather than ending. His logic was sound. If Olaf is made from Elsa's magic, and Elsa's magic is evolving, then Olaf should evolve too. And he does. Olaf's philosophical ramblings about aging, change, and permanence came not from jokes, but from the writer's own reflections during production. One of the screenwriters even admitted to writing Olaf's "this will all make sense when I'm older" monologue while going through a midlife crisis. Suddenly, the snowman's wisdom feels a lot more human. Technologically, the movie pushed boundaries most viewers wouldn't even recognize. The animation team built an entirely new system to simulate autumn leaves, a challenge far trickier than snow. Leaves, unlike snowflakes, don't just fall. They glide, catch wind, crumple, interact with light, and pile unevenly. Getting the physics right took months, especially for scenes where Gale, the wind spirit, plays with the leaves. The wind, by the way, was animated like a character without a body. It had emotion, intent, even timing, but no visible form. Animators called it the invisible diva, because Gale often disrupted lighting setups or required scene reshoots. Yes, in animation, scenes still get reshoots. One of the most unexpected turns in production came when they realized the test audiences weren't responding well to a key moment. Originally, Elsa's journey into Arthurhallen wasn't as emotionally charged. It lacked that climactic musical explosion. The team realized the scene needed not only a song, but the song. That led to the creation of Show Yourself, a song that wasn't even on the original track list. It was written late into development, and once Idina Menzel recorded it, the team knew they'd found the emotional anchor of the film. The entire Arthurhallen sequence was reanimated around that performance, turning it into one of the most powerful moments in Disney musical history. On the visual side, you might not notice it on a first watch, but the animation in Frozen 2 pays homage to classic Disney motifs. When Elsa crosses the dark sea, the glowing waves mirror the animation style of Fantasia's Night on Bald Mountain. When Anna runs from the Earth Giants, her movement echoes Belle's dash through the woods in Beauty and the Beast. These choices weren't random. They were deliberate love letters to Disney's legacy, weaving the old with the new in visual whispers only the keenest eyes catch. But the most surreal moment during production? The day Disney had to lock their entire storyline, finalize sequences, and export the film for global release, and no one on the creative team had actually watched the film straight through. The animation, editing, music, and effects had been completed in overlapping waves. Time constraints and technical issues made a single, start-to-finish viewing impossible until almost the final moment. Directors and producers admitted to holding their breath, watching the completed cut just days before the world would see it. They wept, laughed, and felt genuine awe. Not because they thought it was perfect, but because somehow, despite all the changes, pressure, and fear, the heart of the story had made it through. When Frozen 2 was finally released on November 22, 2019, it shattered records. But more than that, it offered a kind of layered storytelling rare in animated features. What the audience didn't see were the sleepless nights, the deleted characters, including an enchanted fox spirit who was cut late in production, the tech innovations, and the fierce emotional investment of hundreds of artists, many of whom felt they were not just working on a film, but evolving along with it. So much of what makes Frozen 2 special is what we don't see. The invisible wind of decisions behind every frame. The voices that were almost silenced. The scenes that never made it past the storyboards but left echoes in what remained. Like Arthurhallen, the film is a place of memory, shaped by the past, animated by discovery, and always calling you to return, just to see what you missed the first time. In the realm of animated storytelling, few sequels dare to take their audience into territory so emotionally rich and thematically bold as Frozen 2. While the first film captivated with its songs and sisterhood, the second dives deeper into ideas of identity, legacy, and the cost of truth. Every frame seems infused with intention, and certain moments rise from the screen not just as plot beats, but as turning points in how we experience these characters and their world. What makes Frozen 2 so impactful isn't just its narrative, it's how key moments reflect back on us, like ice revealing the cracks and clarity in our own stories. It begins with something deceptively simple, a lullaby. All is Found, sung by Queen Iduna to her daughters, opens the film with a gentle rhythm that lingers long after the scene ends. At first glance, it feels like a classic bedtime song, but the lyrics hint at deeper mysteries and hidden knowledge. That lullaby sets the emotional tone for the entire journey. It isn't just a tune, it's a roadmap. When Idina sings of a river full of memory, the audience is being asked to pay attention. That melody becomes the spine of Elsa's quest, threading through scenes and echoing in revelations. The choice to start the film this way reorients the audience. It tells us this isn't a story about escaping danger, but about uncovering buried truths. That undercurrent of truth-seeking crests in the film's first major shift, the discovery of the enchanted forest. When Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven enter the mist, it's as though they've crossed into myth. Visually, the scene explodes with autumnal beauty, but narratively, it marks the moment when the past begins to collide with the present. The forest isn't just a backdrop, it's a character, a space where memory lives, and where time seems folded in on itself. Audiences responded with awe, but also curiosity. Why was the forest sealed? What happened there? That moment of entry triggers the film's central mystery and invites viewers into a puzzle that refuses to be simple. Yet it's not the grandeur that hits hardest, it's the personal beats tucked inside it. Take Olaf's monologue about change. On paper, it could read like comic relief, but what Josh Gad delivers is something closer to philosophical musing. As Olaf struggles to make sense of a world in flux, viewers, especially adults, find themselves nodding along. His fears are dressed in humor, but they echo the anxieties many feel when faced with change they can't control. That juxtaposition, innocence and insight, gives the scene an emotional texture that deepens our connection to the film's themes. Perhaps no scene captures the emotional high-wire act of Frozen 2 quite like Elsa's venture into the unknown, both literally and thematically. Into the Unknown isn't just a show-stopping musical number, it's a thesis statement. In it, Elsa battles the pull of duty against the draw of self-discovery. The glowing voice that calls to her, represented by Norwegian singer Aurora, is hauntingly ambiguous. Is it danger? Destiny? Desire? The staging of the scene, with Elsa alone amid shifting ice, transforms a moment of indecision into an anthem of transformation. Critics have praised the scene for its visual choreography and powerful vocals, but its true brilliance lies in how it externalizes the internal. Elsa's uncertainty, her fear of leaving behind the familiar, is made visible, and in that visibility, it becomes universal. That universality reaches a crescendo in a scene far quieter, but infinitely heavier, Anna's solitude after Elsa's disappearance. When Olaf vanishes in her arms, dissolving into snowflakes, it's the film's most heartbreaking image. Children may respond with sadness, but adults recognize something deeper. The moment when grief becomes unbearable and movement feels impossible. The next right thing emerges from that silence like a whisper in the dark. Kristen Bell delivers it with raw vulnerability, giving Anna a song that isn't about resolution, but survival. She isn't singing to be brave. She's singing because she doesn't know what else to do. Critics and audiences alike point to this moment as one of the most emotionally mature in Disney's history. It acknowledges the paralysis of grief and the courage it takes to simply take one small step forward. The moment doesn't offer easy answers, it offers honesty. In contrast, Elsa's arrival at Ahtohallan is a storm of revelations. It's here that the film makes its most daring move, confronting legacy head-on. As Elsa walks through the glacier's shimmering halls, visions from the past surround her. The sequence is visually stunning, but it's what she learns that hits hardest. The truth that her grandfather, King Runyd, started the conflict with the Northuldra. This isn't just history, it's family. The crown Elsa wears is stained with betrayal, and her powers are not a blessing from royalty, but a consequence of reparative magic. That kind of thematic turn is rare in a Disney film, especially one aimed at families. It forces both Elsa and the audience to confront uncomfortable truths about lineage, colonization, and the cost of power. Show Yourself, the song that follows, is a release, emotional, musical, and spiritual. It's the moment Elsa steps fully into her identity, not as queen, not as daughter, but as herself. The staging here is extraordinary. Ice blossoms into memory, light breaks through frozen time, and Elsa's voice crescendos into realization. She is the fifth spirit, the bridge between worlds. Critics hailed this scene not only for its breathtaking animation but for its emotional resonance. It transforms self-acceptance into spectacle and makes the internal epiphany external and epic. The audience reaction has been profound. Many described tears, chills, even a sense of catharsis. It's rare for a character's personal awakening to feel this earned, this intimate, and this universal all at once. But while Elsa's journey is spiritual, Anna's is political. In the film's final act, Anna takes on a mantle of leadership not because she wants to, but because she must. Her decision to wake the Earth Giants and destroy the dam, knowing it may cost her kingdom, is one of the film's most powerful moments. It reframes heroism, not as boldness, but as responsibility. Anna doesn't have powers. She doesn't have magic. What she has is courage, moral clarity, and the will to do what is right. Critics often cite this moment as the clearest representation of the film's core theme. True strength lies not in control, but in connection and sacrifice. Even Christoph, who could have been sidelined in a film so focused on sisters, gets his moment of emotional clarity. In his quiet proposal scene, he doesn't steal the spotlight. Instead, he offers a simple, steady presence, asking Anna what she needs and listening. That, too, is a quietly revolutionary moment in a genre where male leads often dominate or save the day. Here, Christoph saves nothing, he supports. That shift didn't go unnoticed by viewers or analysts. Many praised the scene for modeling healthy relationships and emotional intelligence in a way rarely seen in mainstream media. Of course, no breakdown of Frozen 2's key moments would be complete without acknowledging its final resolution. The decision to have Elsa relinquish the throne and choose the forest, while Anna takes up the crown in Arendelle, was a bold narrative choice. It defied the expected ending of fairy tale royalty. Instead of uniting kingdoms, the sisters part ways, but not in conflict. Their separation is a celebration of individuality and the acknowledgement that paths don't have to stay entangled to remain connected. It's a bittersweet ending, but it feels real. The symmetry of it, Elsa as spirit, Anna as structure, gives the story an elegance that resonates long after the credits roll. Audience reactions have been wide-ranging and passionate. Some praised the film's emotional complexity, while others wrestled with its heavier tones. But what most agree on is this: Frozen 2 isn't just a follow-up. It's a transformation. It dares to take beloved characters into deeper, darker, more uncertain territory, trusting the audience to come along. That trust is evident in how the film handles memory, grief, power, and love, not as abstract ideas, but as lived experiences. Critically, the film sparked rich conversations. Some lauded its mature themes and layered storytelling. Others critiqued its pacing or complexity. But perhaps that range of responses is part of its power. Like Elsa's journey, Frozen 2 doesn't offer easy answers. It invites reflection. It leaves echoes. And it gives us, in its most impactful scenes, not just a window into a magical world, but a mirror that shows us our own. From lullabies that conceal legacy, to rivers of memory that carry truth, from the weight of grief to the lightness of self-acceptance, every major moment in Frozen 2 contributes to a cinematic experience that feels not only sweeping but deeply personal. The film asks us to look inward, to challenge the stories we inherit, and to listen, to the unknown, to the past, and most importantly, to ourselves. From the very moment the audience enters the world of Frozen 2, it's clear that the filmmakers set out to not only follow the magic of its predecessor but to push boundaries in ways that feel both groundbreaking and natural. This isn't just a continuation of a beloved story. It's a leap forward, a refinement, and an expansion of what animation can achieve. Behind every icy snowflake, every shimmering forest, and every gust of wind lies a team of innovators who transformed the film into a visual and technical marvel. While Frozen 2 may seem like a fairy tale brought to life, its creation is far from simple. Each layer of beauty and emotion comes from a remarkable blend of creativity, technology, and a relentless pursuit of perfection. One of the most significant technical achievements in Frozen 2 is the film's lighting and rendering systems. In many ways, Frozen 2 is an exercise in harnessing light itself. In the first film, the snow and ice were magical, but they were limited to a certain palette. Elsa's powers, after all, were new, and the design was straightforward. In Frozen 2, however, the team had to craft a world that not only felt like it was evolving but that felt true to the expansion of the magic itself. The Enchanted Forest is a prime example, a place that couldn't merely be bathed in the familiar cool blues and whites of winter. The filmmakers needed the forest to feel ancient, alive, and tinged with mystery, but also to showcase the natural magic of Elsa's abilities. The lighting team, led by veteran visual effects supervisor, was tasked with making these transformations believable. Their solution? A groundbreaking technique called global illumination. This allowed the team to simulate how light interacts with every surface, ensuring that the glowing trees, shimmering water, and magical spirits looked and felt like they belonged in the same world, yet different enough to emphasize Elsa's evolving powers. It wasn't just about creating something that was beautiful. It was about creating something that fit into the film's emotional world. Lighting became a silent character, enhancing moods, drawing focus, and often turning a simple scene into something cinematic. The mist surrounding the enchanted forest was rendered in such detail that it almost felt like you could touch it, as though it had weight and substance, a technical triumph that amplified the narrative mystery. The texture of ice itself underwent a fascinating evolution as well. In Frozen, 2013, ice and snow were stylized and rendered with a sharpness that felt fresh. But in Frozen 2, the team sought realism. Elsa's ice creations, her palace, her ice sculptures, were given intricate detailing that made them not only magical but tangible. From the moment Elsa's powers are unleashed at the start of the movie, viewers can see the transformation in the way the snowflakes are rendered. They seem to catch light in a more sophisticated, multi-layered way. The ice flows in a fluid, organic motion, as if it too is alive, breathing alongside Elsa's character arc. Every crystal-like shard of snow seems to have its own story to tell, and the textures, from the sharp edges of Elsa's creations to the smooth surface of the river in Ahtohallan, were designed to feel like they belonged to this evolving world. However, achieving these visual marvels came with unique challenges. The team's ability to create photorealistic snow and ice was unprecedented, but it wasn't just about digital mastery. It was about crafting a connection between the animation and the physical world. For instance, animators went on trips to Norway to study the geography and culture of the region, bringing that authentic detail to the film. The look of the landscapes, rocky cliffs, icy shores, and cascading waterfalls, was born from those real-world experiences, carefully observed and then enhanced digitally. It was a marriage of fantasy and reality, with the team blending their expertise in animation with real-world references, ensuring that every set piece felt grounded in something tangible, despite its magic. The music itself became another avenue for innovation in Frozen 2. Kristen Andersen Lopez and Robert Lopez, the songwriting duo who created the iconic songs of the first film, returned to compose the soundtrack, but they had a distinct challenge ahead of them. They needed to craft songs that felt like organic extensions of the original while also resonating with the film's more mature and complex themes. And that's where the emotional nuance of their work shone through. Take Show Yourself, for example. This ballad isn't just a musical number, it's the moment Elsa comes face to face with her true self. The composition itself is built on themes of discovery, reconciliation, and self-acceptance, yet it's the production that enhances this deep emotion. The song's orchestration shifts seamlessly from sparse, haunting notes into a sweeping crescendo, reflecting Elsa's journey from uncertainty to clarity. The vocal performances, too, added another layer of technical artistry. Idina Menzel's voice was pushed to new limits in Frozen 2. As Elsa's character becomes more emotionally complex, so does Menzel's vocal range. She was able to convey both the vulnerability and power Elsa needed in each song, from the soaring notes of Into the Unknown to the quieter reflection in The Next Right Thing. Her ability to balance the weight of Elsa's journey with a sense of wonder is a testament to both her vocal ability and the direction given by the creative team. The sound design, layering the subtle effects of wind, ice, and magic, was carefully crafted to blend with the vocal tracks, ensuring the songs felt rooted in their environment. Meanwhile, the visual effects were taken to new heights with the film's depiction of water and wind, too. elements that play a crucial role in Elsa's development. Artohallen, where Elsa uncovers the truth of her past, was designed to be both stunning and surreal. The space itself was almost a character in the story, shifting and changing as Elsa journeyed deeper into its depths. Creating realistic water was another monumental challenge. The water in Frozen 2 isn't just a visual tool. It represents memory, emotion, and Elsa's connection to the past. To achieve this, animators employed fluid dynamics software, which allowed them to simulate how water would interact with Elsa's movements, each wave of her hand, each step she took through the flowing river. The result was water that felt alive, fluid, and reactive. It wasn't just a setting for Elsa's revelation. It was the conduit for her emotional journey. Yet, some of the most fascinating behind-the-scenes moments happened not on screen, but in the studio itself. The production team encountered a unique challenge with the film's story, which, unlike the first Frozen, involved a more complicated narrative structure. While the first movie was centered around Elsa's powers and the relationship between the sisters, Frozen 2 delved into broader themes of identity, history, and connection. This required multiple rewrites and storyboarding to align the complex narrative with the visuals and songs. In one particular instance, the team had to rework entire sequences of Elsa's ice magic to match the emotional beats in the script. Animation is an art form that's deeply tied to emotion, and this film required more time and adjustments to ensure that every shot worked in harmony with the film's themes. One behind-the-scenes anecdote that resonates is the fact that the animators spent countless hours studying and observing animals, especially the Northuldra reindeer, to capture the correct movements. Sven's character had already been established as endearing, but this time, his role was to be more expressive in the emotional arcs of both Anna and Kristoff. The animators developed a new tool to give Sven more human-like expressions while keeping his animal essence intact. This blend of technical precision with character development became one of the unsung feats of Frozen 2. As much as the technical team broke new ground, the filmmakers also made bold choices when it came to the narrative structure. The decision to have Elsa step back from her royal duties in favor of embracing the mystical world of the forest was a huge gamble, one that could have easily alienated the audience. But rather than being overly cautious, the team used the film's technical advancements to communicate Elsa's internal struggle in ways words couldn't. The groundbreaking visuals didn't just serve as eye candy, they were integral to Elsa's emotional arc, pushing the audience to understand her transformation through what they saw, not just what they heard. In the end, Frozen 2 stands as an extraordinary example of how animation is more than just a genre. It's a testament to what can happen when technology and creativity collide. Behind the technical achievements lies a rich, carefully crafted world full of heart, and the filmmakers used every tool at their disposal to tell a story that felt both timeless and groundbreaking. From the shimmer of magic in the air to the evolving textures of ice and water, Frozen 2 is a masterclass in technical storytelling. A film where every pixel, every note, every detail works together to enhance the emotional depth of the story. It's a reminder that the magic of cinema isn't just in the story, it's in how we tell it. Frozen 2 is more than a beautiful continuation of Elsa and Anna's journey. It is a profound exploration of self-discovery, environmental change, and the complex relationships that bind individuals and communities together. On the surface, the film is a magical adventure filled with stunning visuals, but at its core, it tackles deep and relevant issues that resonate not only with the world of Arendelle but also with our own world. Through its captivating characters and their relationships, Frozen 2 weaves a tapestry of themes that reflect the need for connection, the importance of understanding our past, and the necessity of embracing change to create a better future. The heart of Frozen 2 lies in Elsa's journey, a journey of understanding her identity, purpose, and place in the world. At the start of the film, Elsa has everything she thought she needed: her sister Anna by her side, her role as the Queen of Arendelle, and the acceptance of her magical powers. But something inside her is stirring, something beyond the external world she has built around herself. This internal struggle mirrors a larger theme of Frozen 2, the idea of self-discovery and the importance of acknowledging that we are always evolving. Elsa's power is not just a tool. It is a symbol of the complex and often intimidating task of understanding who we are, especially when it feels like we're not in control. The film speaks to the universal experience of questioning one's place in the world and the courage it takes to embark on the journey of understanding oneself. The call to Elsa, beckoning her into the unknown, is a powerful representation of the internal and external forces that shape our paths. The song Into the Unknown represents Elsa's decision to answer that call, to leave behind the comfort and certainty of her past to uncover something greater, something tied to the ancient history of Arendelle and to the power that lies dormant in the forest. The song itself, soaring with intensity, mirrors Elsa's increasing realization that she must let go of the boundaries she's placed on herself. Much like all individuals must eventually break free from limiting beliefs or past expectations in order to find their true potential. But Elsa's story isn't simply about her discovering who she is. It's also about her coming to terms with the responsibility of her power and the legacy that comes with it. She doesn't just need to understand her identity for herself. She must also understand its role in the world. This shift from self-centered discovery to a broader understanding of purpose is encapsulated when Elsa uncovers the truth about the origins of her powers in Ahtohallan. It's a revelation that shows Elsa that the answers she seeks are tied to the history of her ancestors and the ancient magic that binds them all. It's a message about the importance of understanding our past, not just as a means of personal growth but as a means of understanding our place in the world and the responsibility that comes with it. However, Elsa's journey of self-discovery is not isolated. Her bond with Anna remains at the heart of the story. Where Elsa's narrative is about finding and embracing her individual identity, Anna's story is one of loyalty and love, of standing by her sister even when Elsa is drawn into the unknown. Anna's role is to act as the grounding force, the voice of reason, and a reminder that we are not meant to navigate life alone. She represents the strength of familial bonds, the unwavering support of those who love us even when we don't fully understand ourselves. Anna's love for Elsa is unwavering, and that deep connection is ultimately what pulls Elsa back when she feels like she's lost in the vastness of the world. Their relationship serves as a reminder of the importance of emotional support, of those who help us through moments of self-doubt, and the way our identities are often shaped not just by who we are, but by those who walk alongside us. As Elsa and Anna's journey unfolds, the forest itself becomes a key symbol, representing both the mystery and beauty of the natural world, and the complex relationship humans have with it. The enchanted forest is a place of magic, but it is also a place that has been corrupted by human actions, reflecting a larger commentary on humanity's relationship with the environment. The spirits that inhabit the forest are tied to the elements of nature: earth, fire, water, and air, each of which has been disrupted by the actions of the past. The film's depiction of this dissonance between the elements serves as an allegory for environmental imbalance, showing how human interference in nature can lead to catastrophic consequences. The forest's initial impenetrability, its uncertainty and confusion, mirrors the instability humans often bring to the natural world. And yet, as Elsa works to heal the forest, there is a deeper message. Healing is possible if we acknowledge the damage done and work to restore balance. One of the most poignant symbols in Frozen 2 is the use of water. Water, in many ways, acts as the film's central symbol, representing both life and destruction, clarity and confusion. Elsa's powers are directly tied to water, and in Frozen 2, it's not just about the magical abilities she wields, but about how water symbolizes the fluidity of change. Water, as it flows, is in constant motion, reshaping the world around it. This serves as a powerful metaphor for Elsa's own journey of transformation, her realization that change is inevitable, and that she cannot fight it, but must instead embrace it. The water of Ahtohallan holds the truth, a truth that Elsa must face to reconcile her past with her future. But it's not just Elsa's personal growth that is tied to water. It's the very healing of the land, the restoration of balance that depends on the forces of nature working in harmony. By the end of the film, when Elsa unleashes the full force of her powers to heal the land, it is the water that flows through the forest, renewing it and restoring peace. Water, in this sense, is the very force of renewal. The film also tackles themes of leadership, legacy, and responsibility. Elsa's journey is not only personal, it is deeply political. When the truth of her family's past is revealed, Elsa realizes that her magic was meant to protect Arendelle, to restore balance and ensure peace. But as the past is uncovered, it becomes clear that those who came before her didn't always make the best decisions. Her ancestors were involved in a conflict that damaged the forest and the spirits, and it is Elsa who must now fix this rift. In this way, Frozen 2 comments on the weight of leadership, the importance of understanding history, and the responsibility that comes with power. Elsa's journey is a reminder that leadership is not just about maintaining control or protecting the status quo. It's about facing uncomfortable truths and finding a path forward that heals old wounds. While Elsa's journey is about reconciling with her powers, Anna's arc is rooted in her devotion to her sister and her resilience in the face of uncertainty. Anna's bravery in supporting Elsa's quest, despite not fully understanding what she is facing, is a reflection of the theme of loyalty, but it also ties into a larger message about the importance of compassion in leadership. Anna is not the traditional hero who seeks to conquer or command. Instead, she embodies the power of emotional intelligence, of understanding that sometimes the greatest strength lies not in overcoming obstacles alone, but in leaning on others and offering support when needed. Through these characters and their interconnected stories, Frozen 2 becomes a film that is much more than just a family-friendly adventure. It is an exploration of identity, the complexities of human and environmental relationships, and the consequences of past actions. It reflects the very real challenges we face today: how to navigate personal growth while being mindful of the past, how to heal broken systems, and how to find balance in a rapidly changing world. At its core, Frozen 2 is about connection. Connecting with ourselves, with the people we love, and with the world around us. The forest, Elsa's powers, and the characters themselves all symbolize the intricate web of relationships that shape our world, and how healing, whether personal or environmental, is possible when we come together, embrace change, and learn from the past. This film's themes, rich with symbolic depth and social commentary, not only make Frozen 2 a visually stunning masterpiece but also an emotionally resonant narrative that speaks to the heart of the viewer. Through Elsa's journey of self-discovery and Anna's unshakable love and support, Frozen 2 offers a poignant reminder of the importance of understanding who we are, the responsibility we bear for the world around us, and the power of love and connection to heal even the most fractured places. In Frozen 2, the artistry of visual storytelling takes center stage, creating an experience that is as immersive as it is stunning. From the sweeping landscapes to the intricate details of character expressions, the film uses its visual style to not only tell a story but to enhance the emotional weight of every scene. The directors, Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee, carefully crafted the movie's aesthetic to complement its themes of self-discovery, environmental change, and the power of sisterhood, making sure that every frame feels purposeful and resonant. The way the visual and auditory elements intertwine invites the audience into the world of Arendelle and beyond, where magic, nature, and personal growth converge. One of the most striking elements of Frozen 2 is its use of color, which evolves alongside Elsa's emotional journey. The first film established Elsa's icy powers through an expansive palette of cool blues and whites, a visual choice that tied her character to the frosty landscapes of Arendelle. However, in Frozen 2, the colors shift, reflecting Elsa's growing sense of self and the expanding scope of her power. As Elsa ventures into the mysterious forest, the hues around her deepen, bringing in warm autumn tones, reds, oranges, and browns, that signal the transformation not just of the land, but of Elsa herself. The forest, which is once a symbol of confusion and isolation, eventually becomes a place of clarity and healing, and the colors used to depict it mirror this shift. As Elsa's power matures, so does the color palette, reflecting both her connection to nature and her evolving emotional state. The animation itself is a marvel, with a level of detail that adds texture to the narrative. For example, the hair movements of the characters are intricately animated, conveying emotional tension in subtle but powerful ways. Elsa's hair, particularly, becomes a symbol of her emotional state. When she is overwhelmed or uncertain, it seems almost stiff and controlled. However, as she grows into her power, it flows more freely, mirroring her increasing confidence and acceptance of herself. These small but meaningful details are part of the larger visual storytelling, where every movement, whether it's Elsa's flowing gown or the swirling of the elements, tells a part of the story that words alone could not express. The cinematography in Frozen 2 enhances the epic scale of the journey, especially when the characters venture beyond Arendelle. The enchanted forest is filled with vast, sweeping shots that show the magnitude of the unknown they are about to enter. These wide shots evoke a sense of awe and wonder, accentuating the mystery and beauty of the magical realm. Conversely, the tight close-ups in emotional scenes focus on the characters' faces, emphasizing their internal conflicts and the weight of the choices they face. This careful balance between expansive and intimate shots makes the film feel both grand and personal, amplifying the emotional resonance of each scene. In one of the most visually striking sequences, Elsa's journey through the frozen river, culminating in her reaching Ahtohallan, is framed with breathtaking visual effects. The animation of the water, shaped by Elsa's powers, is not just a display of magic. It's a visual manifestation of Elsa's internal turmoil and her quest for answers. As Elsa's powers form intricate patterns in the water, the fluidity of the animation mirrors her emotional state. The calm before the storm, the rising tension, and ultimately, the clarity that comes with understanding the truth. The visual effects during this sequence blend seamlessly with the emotional beats of the story, making Elsa's personal journey tangible through the moving, ethereal qualities of the water. The editing in Frozen 2 also plays a crucial role in shaping the pacing of the film. The transitions between the film's various settings, whether it's from the calm serenity of Arendelle to the chaotic and mysterious forest, or from the quiet moments of introspection to the high-stakes action, are done with such fluidity that the audience feels like they are being drawn deeper into the story. The way the film uses cross-cutting to juxtapose Elsa's solo journey with Anna's determination to stay by her side is particularly effective. These transitions maintain a steady rhythm, drawing out suspense while allowing the emotional stakes to build gradually. The careful balance between these shifting tones gives the film its dramatic weight, with each scene building on the last to create an overwhelming emotional crescendo. Sound design is another area where Frozen 2 excels in enhancing the emotional experience. The soundscapes are intricately layered, drawing the audience into the world of Arendelle and beyond. In the enchanted forest, the sound design creates a palpable sense of mystery. The rustling of leaves, the wind blowing through the trees, and the crackling of the elemental spirits all contribute to an atmosphere of uncertainty and danger. The forest itself almost feels like a character, alive and unpredictable, as if it is whispering secrets just beyond the reach of the characters. In contrast, the sound design during the more intimate moments, such as when Elsa sings "Show Yourself," heightens the emotional impact by stripping away extraneous noise and letting the focus fall solely on the music and Elsa's voice. These moments of quietude are powerful because they allow the audience to connect with Elsa's inner world, providing a stark contrast to the louder, more dramatic action sequences. This quiet, intimate sound design lets the emotional weight of Elsa's self-discovery sink in, allowing the audience to sit with her vulnerability as she faces the truth of her identity. The score of Frozen 2 is another crucial element that weaves through the entire film, shaping both the emotional landscape and the narrative arc. Composer Christoph Beck returns to score the sequel, building on the themes of the original while introducing new musical motifs that reflect the deeper, more mature tone of Frozen 2. The music, especially in songs like Into the Unknown and Show Yourself, captures the feeling of yearning and self-discovery that underpins Elsa's journey. The soaring melodies and lush orchestration are designed to evoke a sense of wonder, mystery, and, ultimately, release, much like Elsa's journey from self-doubt to self-empowerment. The song Into the Unknown, sung by Idina Menzel, serves as a musical metaphor for Elsa's journey throughout the film. The pulsating beat and escalating orchestration mirror the tension within Elsa as she is drawn toward the unknown, and Menzel's powerful vocals carry the emotional depth of Elsa's fear and longing. The song's chorus is an anthem of courage, echoing Elsa's resolve to face the unknown even when it terrifies her. In a similar way, Show Yourself marks Elsa's moment of clarity, with its hauntingly beautiful melody reflecting her realization that she must embrace both her powers and her destiny. The transition between these two songs, one about the pull of the unknown and the other about the acceptance of truth, represents the emotional arc that Elsa undergoes, underscoring her transformation from uncertainty to self-assurance. The film also uses musical motifs to tie together different narrative threads. For example, Anna's songs reflect her unwavering devotion to Elsa, with simpler, more straightforward melodies that mirror her grounded, steadfast personality. The contrast between Anna's songs and Elsa's showcases the differences between the sisters, but they also underscore the harmony in their relationship, the way their personalities balance each other, both creating and resolving tension within the story. The music not only serves to accentuate the emotional journey of each character but also enhances the overall atmosphere of the film, making every moment feel alive and meaningful. In terms of stylistic choices, Frozen 2 makes daring decisions that define its artistic vision. The magical elements of the film are given a dreamlike quality, where colors, light, and sound work in harmony to depict Elsa's powers. The spirits themselves are portrayed with fluid, almost ethereal movements that suggest an otherworldly grace. In particular, the elemental spirits, fire, earth, air, and water, are not merely creatures. They are representations of nature itself, existing as both protectors and forces of chaos. The way these spirits interact with the landscape, shifting the wind, bending the earth, and causing the sea to rise, feels like a visual representation of the themes of balance and change that permeate the film. The film's depiction of water is also a standout stylistic choice. Water, as a symbol of both life and destruction, is brought to life through the use of fluid animation that gives the element an almost sentient quality. Elsa's powers are depicted as an extension of the water itself, constantly moving, shifting, and evolving. The animation techniques used to render these sequences are visually stunning, creating a sense of fluidity and movement that mirrors Elsa's emotional and personal transformation. Water becomes not just a backdrop to the action, but a central narrative device that ties together Elsa's journey and the environmental themes of the film. Ultimately, Frozen 2 is a masterclass in visual storytelling, with every element, from color choices to sound design, from cinematography to music, working in concert to create a cohesive, emotionally rich narrative. The film's directors and creative team have used these cinematic techniques not only to enhance the plot but to deepen the themes and emotional stakes of the story. Through their unique stylistic choices, they have crafted a film that feels both expansive and intimate, a visual and auditory journey that resonates long after the credits roll. Every frame, every note, every sound is meticulously designed to draw the audience into the world of Arendelle, leaving them with a lasting impression of magic, wonder, and the beauty of self-discovery. The chemistry between the cast members of Frozen 2 is palpable, with the performances of the principal actors elevating the emotional depth of the film. At the heart of this chemistry are the sisters, Elsa and Anna, brought to life by Idina Menzel and Kristen Bell. Their bond, both on-screen and off, is a driving force in the narrative, grounding the film's fantastical elements in a relatable, emotional core. The dynamic between Elsa's cool, reserved nature and Anna's warm, impulsive personality creates a contrast that is not only engaging but essential to the heart of the story. This sibling relationship, which was already central to the first film, is deepened in Frozen 2, as both characters undergo significant personal growth and confront challenges that test their love for one another. Magical realms, it's also a commentary on the fragility of our natural world, something that continues to resonate with global audiences as they face increasing environmental challenges. Elsa's role as a protector, not just of her kingdom but of the world around her, taps into the growing awareness of climate change and the urgent need for sustainable action. Ultimately, Frozen 2 remains significant because it gave audiences more than just a continuation of a beloved story. It provided a meaningful reflection of personal and societal growth, one that is still relevant today. Its cultural impact transcends borders, touching viewers from different walks of life and backgrounds, and it continues to inspire new generations of fans. The film's exploration of empowerment, its commitment to storytelling that is both imaginative and emotionally resonant, and its technical brilliance ensure that its legacy will endure long into the future. As Frozen 2 continues to be revisited by audiences old and new, it serves as a reminder that the most powerful stories are the ones that leave a lasting impact on the heart and mind. Frozen 2 will forever remain a beacon of how animated films can evolve, reflect, and shape the world we live in. As we reach the end of this deep dive into Frozen 2, it's impossible not to reflect on the elements that make this film so undeniably special. From the very first frame, the movie pulls viewers into a world that is as magical as it is meaningful. With its breathtaking animation, emotionally charged performances, and a narrative that refuses to shy away from complexity, Frozen 2 stands as a monumental achievement in the world of animated filmmaking. But beyond the technical brilliance, What makes Frozen 2 truly unforgettable is its ability to speak to the heart. It builds on the foundation set by its predecessor, yet offers something deeper, something more profound. The themes of identity, empowerment, and the deep connection between family and self resonate in ways that transcend age, geography, and background. This film is more than just a continuation of a beloved story. It's a narrative that dares to explore the unknown, both literally and figuratively. Elsa's journey is not simply one of magical discovery. It's a journey of self-acceptance, a path to understanding her true power and place in the world. This quest for self-discovery, coupled with Anna's unwavering love and dedication to her sister, elevates the entire movie into an emotional experience that lingers far beyond the credits. The film's visual mastery is equally compelling. Each scene is meticulously crafted to reflect the emotional arcs of the characters while enveloping the audience in a world that feels both mystical and tangible. The enchanted forest, Ahtohallan, and Elsa's powers become more than just narrative tools. They are symbols of inner turmoil, self-exploration, and growth. What also sets Frozen 2 apart is its musical score, a key element that not only drives the film's emotional beats but also cements its place in pop culture. Songs like Into the Unknown and Show Yourself aren't just catchy tunes. They are anthems that capture the essence of the film. Each song serves as a manifestation of Elsa's internal struggles and triumphs, as well as the bond she shares with Anna. The music amplifies the emotional depth of the film, making every moment feel more profound. The way these songs blend seamlessly into the story speaks to the unique ability of Frozen 2 to integrate art forms, animation, music, and storytelling into a cohesive experience that feels both epic and intimate. The impact of Frozen 2 extends far beyond the animation studio. It has become a cultural touchstone, influencing conversations about personal empowerment, the importance of self-discovery, and the need for a deeper connection with the natural world. The film's portrayal of Elsa's journey to find her true self reflects a broader societal shift toward embracing authenticity, confronting one's fears, and finding strength in vulnerability. In a world that is increasingly focused on identity, empowerment, and environmental issues, Frozen 2 has tapped into the pulse of these conversations, providing a film that speaks to the hearts of audiences while still managing to captivate them with its stunning visuals and magical storytelling. Its legacy is evident in the way it has shaped the landscape of animation. Frozen 2 proved that sequels could be more than just a rehashing of familiar formulas. They could be an opportunity to deepen characters, explore new ideas, and take creative risks. The film's success has influenced future animated films to tackle more complex, mature themes, providing a blueprint for storytelling that resonates with audiences of all ages. Its emotional weight, coupled with its groundbreaking animation and unforgettable music, has set a new standard for what animated films can achieve. But perhaps the most enduring aspect of Frozen 2 is its message of hope and self-empowerment. It reminds us that, like Elsa, we all have the ability to confront our fears and find our true path, no matter how uncertain or difficult it may seem. In a world that often feels overwhelming, Frozen 2 serves as a beacon of light, showing us that the strength to overcome adversity lies within each of us. It encourages us to listen to that inner voice, to embrace change, and to walk bravely into the unknown. As we close this chapter on Frozen 2, we're reminded of the enduring power of storytelling. The film's ability to blend breathtaking visuals, a moving narrative, and resonant themes is what has made it so beloved. It has captured the hearts of millions, and its influence will continue to be felt for years to come. Whether it's through the unforgettable music, the captivating animation, or the heartfelt performances, Frozen 2 has carved a place in cinematic history as a film that transcends the boundaries of animation. So, if you love this breakdown and want to explore even more hidden gems in the world of cinema, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. There's so much more to uncover, so many more films to dissect and enjoy together. From powerful narratives to stunning visuals, we'll continue to delve into the magic of movies and the art of filmmaking. Let's keep exploring, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Frozen 2, and until next time, keep celebrating the beauty and power of cinema.